Go to next, and we started talking about this last night, is curfew. A curfew order has been established for the Palisades and Eaton fire areas in all mandatory evacuation zones. That will be in effect. It was in effect last night, and it's going to be in effect tonight at 6. That is important. We're not doing this to inconvenience anybody. We're doing it to protect the structures, the houses that people have left because we ordered them to leave, and I want them to feel confident that we are doing everything we can to secure that. This curfew will be strictly enforced and is being taken to enhance public safety, protect property, and prevent any burglaries or looting in the area that the residents have evacuated. The only people that will be allowed in these areas are disaster workers, okay? I just want to make that clear because we have other people trying to get in there. And by the way, media partners who have legitimate media credentials, yes, you may enter those areas unless it's very, very unsafe and somebody tells you not to for that reason. Again, just specifically, anyone found in violation of this curfew will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor offense under LA County Code Section 2.68320, and conviction may result in a fine up to $1,000 or jail time. And I'm telling you right now, I know people talk about no bail, and I've given direction that if somebody's caught doing this, they are not going to get cited and released. They're going to get booked. We are not screwing around with this. We don't want anyone taking advantage of our residents that have already been victimized. The National Guard deployment. As many of you are aware, we asked for the National Guard. I'm very thankful to Governor Newsom and the State Office of Emergency Services that fulfilled that request. As of last night, we've had National Guardsmen assisting us. They arrived last night and deployed to the Eaton fire area, and we're assisting with road closures and critical infrastructure protection. As additional Guard personnel arrive, and they will be in the next 12 to 24 hours, the Sheriff's Department will strategically coordinate their deployment with other partners such as the Los Angeles Police Department, Pasadena Police Department, Santa Monica Police Department, Azusa, and Arcadia. Those are the requests we have now. That may grow. We'll adjust as time goes on. I want to make sure that if anybody needs updated information on either evacuation orders or warnings or road closures, they go to lacounty.gov/emergency. And with that, I am going to be introducing Assistant Chief Dominic Choi from the Los Angeles Police Department.
All right. Good morning. On behalf of the Los Angeles Police Department, I just want to extend our deepest sympathies to all those affected by our fires, and that includes many of our own LAPD officers who've lost homes and property in this fire, and they continue to serve these communities, and I appreciate all their work. I have a number of important updates for all of you today, and I'm going to start by an arrest that was made late yesterday afternoon. So yesterday afternoon, the Kenneth fire started at the border of West Hills and the city of Los Angeles and Ventura County. At 4:32 p.m., we received a 911 call that a suspect was attempting to light a fire in the community of Woodland Hills and was being detained by residents. Officers from LAPD's Topanga area responded and took that suspect into custody. And once we learned that this suspect was a possible arson suspect, our Major Crimes Division responded to Topanga Division along with Ventura County sheriffs, who was the lead in the Kenneth fire investigation. But they responded, they interviewed this suspect. After the interview and additional investigative steps, looking at some additional evidence that was present, they made the determination that there was not enough probable cause to arrest this person on arson or suspicion of arson, and therefore this person was arrested on a felony probation violation. This investigation is ongoing, however, and I'd like to thank those community members that were involved in this and helping us bring this person to our attention, and so we can have an ongoing investigation. The second point I want to talk about is for any of those people looking for loved ones or missing people related specifically to the Palisades fire. Now, the county is also doing this for the Eaton fire, but for the city of Los Angeles, we've stood up a family assistance center. This center is located at Chevy Hills Recreation Center, and it's at 2551 Motor Avenue. It's going to be open today from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We will have 10 officers there ready to receive anyone who needs to report a missing person related to the Palisades fire. We will also have the American Red Cross, the Mayor's Crisis Response Team, the LA County Medical Examiner's Office, and the LA County Department of Mental Health. They will be there to help support, answer questions, and provide information as necessary. Again, I just want to emphasize this is for missing people related to Palisades fire. This is not for any other issues related to the fire. LAPD and our law enforcement partners are actively maintaining law and order in the areas impacted by the fires. We're patrolling these areas to deter criminal activity and to continue to ensure public safety. Today, we're deploying 210 officers in these impacted areas. This deployment includes our partners from LA Port PD and LAWA PD, and I'm thankful for their support. Again, protecting our homes, businesses in evacuated and vulnerable zones are our priority, and we will continue to ensure that no one takes advantage of these situations. You've heard this message before, but I'm going to say it again because it's so important and so critical. Looting has zero tolerance. Looting or exploiting in the disaster areas will not be tolerated. Anybody caught looting or committing crimes in the affected areas will be arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. We'll remain vigilant and patrol these areas and ensure that we can mitigate any activity like this. And again, if you haven't already done so, you will start seeing in the city of Los Angeles the National Guard being deployed at the Palisades fire. Their role is going to be traffic control, managing roadways to ensure access to affected areas is restricted to authorized personnel only. They're going to be manning critical infrastructure security, as well as doing checkpoints and verifying credentials for those for ingress and egress. And lastly, these measures, controlling access, they are necessary. I just want the communities to know they are necessary for public safety and for proper community recovery. They are inconvenience, but it's something that we have to do. Residents are encouraged to call 911 if they see any suspicious activity. Law enforcement, National Guard, and other first responders are here to support this community and ensure their safety in a difficult time. Our commitment remains steadfast to restoring safety and normalcy as quickly as possible. Your cooperation and resilience from the community are greatly appreciated. Thank you. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Los Angeles County District Attorney Nathan Hochman.
Thank you and good morning. The District Attorney's Office will be considering up to now 5 different types of cases that will eventually be presented from law enforcement. Let's start with arson. If it is determined that there is a man-made and intentional setting of any of the fires involved in this situation, the people who committed this arson will be arrested, they will be prosecuted, and they will be punished to the full extent of the law. Right now, obviously, law enforcement and the firefighters are focused on containing these properties, saving lives, saving homes. But eventually we will get to the causes of those fires, and in that part the DA's office will be working with law enforcement to go after anyone who is guilty of the crime of arson. Second types of crimes. If people are going to violate this curfew restriction and they get arrested, they will be prosecuted. Let me back up what the sheriff has said. In order to protect the homes of people who've been ordered to leave those homes, the sheriff, the Los Angeles Police Department, and local law enforcement is going to be working overtime to protect your home. In that way, if you violate the curfew, you will be arrested and then you will be prosecuted by the district attorney's office. Third issue, looting. Looting is a despicable crime. For the people who've already been arrested, please know that this is not going to end well. You will be punished to the full extent of the law, and I'm sending this warning message out again. if you want to take and go ahead and take advantage of people who are tragically suffered enormous losses in this county, the District Attorney's Office, working with law enforcement, will make sure you are arrested, you are prosecuted, and you are maximally punished. Drones. If you're thinking that it's fun to send a drone up in the area for your own amusement, or you want to get information that nobody else can get, and you do it in one of these areas for which drones are not permitted, I'll repeat one more time. You will be arrested, you will be prosecuted, and you will be punished to the full extent of the law. And the last type of crime that we'll be looking at are scams, and we're already seeing them. We're seeing people being targeted in GoFundMe scams by people who are trying to entice people to give money to people who have suffered, when the people who are arranging this GoFundMe page are nothing but scammers. You must be aware of who you are being approached by and who you actually can go ahead and give your money to if you want to help them. We're going to see that eventually with insurance scams. We'll see it with government benefit scams, and yes, they're going to target the people who have been tragically affected, and you cannot allow them to do it. I would suggest that if you want internet resources and who to give money to, go to recovery.lacounty.gov. It has a whole list of organizations that you can, if you want to, contribute to, and it does it in both English and Spanish. Also, you can go to the LAFD.gov's website as well. But my message to the public is beware. These scammers look at this as an opportunity. Do not let them take advantage of you. And one more message to the scammers: you will be arrested, you will be prosecuted, and you will be punished to the maximum extent possible. I'd like now to introduce California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara.
Thank you. Before I begin, I want to publicly thank the insurance commissioners from across the nation and the international insurance supervisors who have offered assistance and support during this difficult time. My heart goes out to my fellow Angelinos and to the firefighters currently battling these blazes. Let me be clear, my top priority is to protect all affected people during this crisis and assist in their insurance recovery. My primary concern at this very moment is to ensure that wildfire survivors receive the insurance benefits to which they are entitled to as soon as possible. I understand that this may be new and the extent of the calamity here in Southern California, and compounded by the insurance and financial stresses that these wildfires have caused. However, at the Department of Insurance, we have been confronting wildfires and other natural disasters throughout our entire state for a very long time, making us, unfortunately, response experts. Now is the time for you to focus on your family and on your health. The last thing you should be worrying about is your insurance. Here's what I've done to protect our wildfire victims to date. I am using my moratorium power to stop all non-renewals and cancellations. Last night, I issued a bulletin to protect homeowners affected by the Palisades and Eaton fires from non-renewals and cancellations by your insurance companies for 1 year, under a moratorium law that I wrote while I was serving in the state Senate. This covers you even if your home wasn't destroyed or damaged in the wildfire. You can visit insurance.ca.gov to look up your zip code if you are near these wildfires and obtain that protection. I'm also calling on insurance companies to suspend any pending non-renewals and cancellations that homeowners received before these fires started. This means that if you've received a non-renewal from your homeowner's insurance between October 9th and January 7th, essentially 90 days, your insurance company should do the right thing and retain you as a valued policyholder. I call upon all property insurance companies to pause these non-renewals and cancellations and provide essential stability for our communities, allowing consumers to focus on what's important at the moment, their safety and recovery. In my notice, I also urged insurers to extend the payment grace period beyond the existing 60 days for policyholders in areas directly affected by the wildfires, enabling Angelinos to pay their home insurance premiums amidst the challenges that they are currently facing. And if your policy was not renewed, or if you don't have coverage, please call us at 1-800-927-4357. We can help you find additional solutions. I have also directed my department's enforcement team to protect Angelenos from fraudsters targeting wildfire survivors and to assist with the ongoing evacuation efforts. My department has moved quickly to host an insurance support workshop on January 18th and 19th at Santa Monica College, followed by another event the following weekend at Pasadena City College. We will have experts from our staff and representatives from insurance companies available so homeowners can obtain answers and take the action they need in one convenient location. Again, call us at 1-800-927-4357 to schedule a one-on-one appointment with our experts. Related to health, I've issued an additional notice to all California health insurers directing them to submit emergency plans to my department. These plans must detail how they're going to ensure that consumers can continue to access essential medical care and obtain their medications in the wake of these disasters. I've been in constant communication with our county leaders, governor, the legislative leaders, and our congressional delegation to identify best ways to expedite our recovery, reduce wildfire risk, and build a more climate-resilient state and communities. Making homes and communities safer from wildfires needs to be a top priority for our state. Looking forward, I'm going to ask the governor and the state legislature to support my proposal to provide consumers with home hardening grants. We need to put money in people's hands. This measure is critical to protecting homes and improving long-term resilience against wildfire risk. We are also going to be introducing legislation to include businesses in our moratorium law. Businesses are an important consumer of insurance and the financial backbone of many communities, and they also need this vital protection. Newly enacted insurance reforms are now in effect to make insurance rates more stable and predictable. My sustainable insurance strategy mandates that insurance companies expand and maintain coverage in high wildfire areas if they are going to use forward-looking catastrophic models and incorporate the reinsurance cost in the rate making, which my department just finalized in December. Why is this important for our residents? It ensures that Californians in wildfire-prone areas retain access to insurance and brings competition back into the market and ultimately lowering the cost. Without these measures, insurance companies may continue non-renewals, leaving communities at greater risk of underinsurance and total loss of coverage. Even with these devastating wildfires, I want to be clear, I am confident that these reforms will keep us on track to modernizing our insurance market, encourage insurers to return and expand in California, and protect the solvency of our market. We remain the largest insurance market in the nation, fourth in the world. Our goal is to ensure they remain financially solvent and can honor the claim that will stabilize our insurance market in the long run. Now, let me just quickly address issues surrounding the insurer of last resort, which we call the FAIR Plan. It has become clear that reforms are necessary as the coverage maximums have not changed in 30 years. I recognize that for some Californians, the coverage limits, even the ones that we've already implemented, are still very low. Under my strategy, we have also ensured the creation of a stronger, more sustainable FAIR Plan with the long-term financial strategy to withstand the challenging fires we are experiencing today. Let me be clear, once the fires are brought under control, we will get data directly from the insurance industry and the FAIR Plan about claims filed, as we have on all the other fires that may or may not happen. We are focused on maintaining the FAIR Plan's financial health while getting people back to the regular market where they belong. In closing, our actions are focused on ensuring that the insurance companies meet their commitments to the consumers, that Californians are protected, not just in this crisis, but beyond. We are here to help. Please call us. We speak multiple languages in whatever language you feel comfortable. Insurance can be complicated. We are here to help you decipher your policy and help you understand what your rights are as consumers. Please call us at 1-800-927-4357 or you can use our live chat feature on our website at insurance.ca.gov. Together, we will get through this, I can assure you, and thank you.
LA County Assessor Jeff Prang.
Good morning. Right now, government is very focused on bringing these fires under control, but in the coming days, the focus will return to recovery. Initial reports suggest that 10,000 properties have been damaged or destroyed, with hundreds more likely to be discovered in the coming days. I appreciate that property taxes are not high on the list of things to worry about right now, as so many are focused on housing and safety, but financial issues will soon become a major issue for the victims of the fires. Under California law, if your property, your home or your business has been damaged or destroyed, you may qualify for property tax relief under the Misfortune and Calamity Program. This program allows my office to reduce your assessed value of your property, which is what your taxes are based upon, to reflect the damage. Here are the key details. To qualify, the damage needs to exceed $10,000, and you must file a claim within 12 months. Once filed, we will investigate and verify the claim, determine the cost to cure, and then reduce the assessed value effective the date of the damage occurred. The reduction remains in place until the property is repaired, rebuilt, or undergoes a change in ownership. It does seem clear that we may need legislative help to ensure maximum benefits to victims. I'm glad some legislators are here today. We look forward to talking to them about making some of those fixes. The filing of this claim also facilitates coordination with the Treasurer Tax Collector's Office, allowing taxpayers who pay property taxes directly, that is not through an impound account with their mortgage lender, to defer their current year property taxes without incurring penalties or interest. We are working closely with our county partners to identify impacted properties and will assist homeowners and businesses through every step of this process. For all claims, we aim to do that, process them as quickly as possible. Once the tax roll is updated, the auditor controller will recalculate the taxes. If you're due a refund, it will be issued, or if taxes remain owed, an adjusted bill with new due dates will be sent. My staff, who's here, has handouts with a lot of the information these programs detailed. I did want to also emphasize that you should not pay anybody to access these services. My office provides them all for free, and we can be reached at assessor.lacounty.gov or at 213-974-3211. Thank you.
Thank you. U.S. Fire Administrator Dr. Lori Moore Merrill.
Good morning. Thank you. FEMA and the U.S. Fire Administration remains on the ground to support the response and recovery efforts here for these fires. And I just want to have a reminder, as the mayor said, President Biden, through a major disaster declaration, has committed to cover cost associated with these fires at 100% for 180 days. For those who are affected and individual assistance, you can go to disasterassistance.gov, or if you prefer, to call someone, speak to someone directly. It is 1-800-621-3362. Our hearts remain with those who are affected, and certainly with the firefighters who continue the fight on the front lines. Helen, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you very much. Closing remarks by Sheriff Barker.
Thank you. In closing, I just have to say that this is called One Voice, and it's One Voice because while it's focused on unincorporated Altadena and I know Palisades and Pasadena, we're working with our state and our federal partners to ensure that we are providing all the resources necessary. So I want to acknowledge people that are here today. Supervisor Holly Mitchell, our colleague who's here to support us, Pasadena Mayor Victor Gordo, Santa Monica Mayor Lana Negrete, Assembly Member Jess Gabriel, and Assembly Member Jessica Caloza, who are here. Did I miss anybody? I think that's... So again, I want to thank you all, and with that, we're going to take maybe one question, because I know we've got to run out to Altadena, but go ahead.
Okay, why don't we go, can we just, Supervisor, I'm so sorry, we'll just get a couple over here. Just 2 or 3. We'll do, by the way, we will do one-on-one interviews afterwards, okay? I will help you get the information you need. Go ahead.
Thank you. My question is for Mayor Bass. Jonathan Vigliotti with CBS News. Yesterday, you asked for the public's patience as you assess the response. As you well know, then millions of people receive false alarms. It's been acknowledged here in this room that many may now be deactivating their alerts on their phones. I have heard from many people who are ignoring them altogether. We have red flag warnings still in effect. They will resume again next week. There is no rain in the forecast. What are you doing at this point to earn back people's trust and to make sure these mistakes don't happen again?
Well, first of all, I think that was addressed at the beginning of the press conference by Kevin McGowan.
I would like that from you. I don't, you're the top official here.
So let me just be clear. I am going to spend every moment that I can making sure that I am in as many areas as possible, meeting and talking to residents to see what is needed in the recovery. But I also mentioned that we're moving into recovery mode at the same time, meaning that we want to see the city rebuilt. We want to see Los Angeles come together. Let me finish. We want to see Los Angeles come together.
You are deflecting from the question. You have millions of people here who get these alerts. They are ignoring them. You still have red flag warnings in effect. There is a real threat here. What is your message to your constituents who are losing faith? You started this entire...
I want the residents of Los Angeles region to have faith in what we are doing 24 hours a day. I can say on behalf of our first responders, from the fire department, the police department, we are doing everything we can to bring the situation under control, and success has been reported. We know that we're going to have a possible increase in the force of the winds at the beginning of next week, and getting Los Angeles prepared, doing everything we can to save lives. That is our #1 job, to protect people's homes, to protect people's businesses, and to prepare to rebuild Los Angeles in a much better way. We're going to stand united, we're going to stand together, and we are not going to allow politics to interfere, and we're not going to allow people to divide us for political gain. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Bass. One over here.
Bob DeCastro from Good Day LA, Fox 11. Just to follow up on that, because even after yesterday that errant message was sent out to Los Angeles County, some 10 million people, overnight people were still receiving many messages, and we were even fielding calls from our own newsroom from people as far as San Bernardino that were receiving calls. You have no idea why people are getting these alerts and being startled in the middle of the night when they're already on edge in the Inland Empire. Why has that happened? You have no idea. And you also ask that people verify and get onto a website. Not everybody has the ability to jump on a website when they're panicked to try and figure out whether or not this is an actual alert.
Thank you, and I appreciate the thoughts you're sharing and the question. I would take a second to explain how the alert system works. There's an interface, and you activate that interface with what type of an alert you're going to send, an evacuation order, an evacuation warning, and you identify a geographical area. After you initiate that message package is sent into what is the Integrated Public and Alert Warning System aggregator. That then transitions, I'll call it for lack of better terms, into a cloud that connects with all of our cell service providers. The root cause analysis is trying to establish where along that sequence there is an error going on. And in addition to that, it is important to understand that the cellular phone towers have different reach in how they're activating the message to the cell phone. And so it's a common phenomenon that there's a term called bleed over, where a cell phone that may be in a different jurisdiction or a different area is receiving that message from a cellular tower that may be geographically in a different space. So right now our #1 priority is to establish how we can work with our, well, in coordination with our federal and state partners, how we can stop the messages that are going out right now that are not being initiated by a human action. to stop that and then understand how that occurred so that the tool can still be used for what was identified as like a critical fire weather that we're still in experiencing and will continue to experience.
Can I just follow up on that? The bottom line is we are going to drill down because I too got the alert. I got 2 alerts, and then I got an alert telling me to disregard the alerts. And, you know, as someone who has communities that are on edge, that are lined up, and I'm sure Mayor Gordo has the same situation going on as well, they're on pins and needles thinking that they're next. So we're drilling down right now, and the way it's described to me is there are towers that are now powering up, and it's up in this cloud. It's kind of like when you send an email and it goes into draft, and then once you hit internet, it gets sent. Similar, but my question is, why can't we turn it off? And the answers we're getting are not satisfying. I'm not making any excuses. It's unacceptable, and it is frustrating because we are asking people to trust us, to believe us when we say evacuate. So if we're going to tell them to evacuate, we better make darn sure we're targeting the right people. So don't think we're taking this lightly. I'm not. And I know that my residents aren't. So I hear you loud and clear. The frustration you're hearing from me is based on the frustration I'm hearing as well from my constituents who are asking, when we get it, is it going to be legitimate? Should we listen or should we ignore? Or disable altogether?
So, Chair Barber, the verification, that people are just supposed to go on this website, find this website to figure out if it's real?
I think that's absolutely ridiculous, and I told Kevin McGowan that. To tell people to go on a website when they may not have access to an internet is absolutely absurd, and that is, quite frankly, not something that I am recommending. Obviously, for those that want to find out where the evacuation centers are, or the evacuation locations are, they can go on there, and it is an accurate map. But I'm not going to tell people, if you get the alert, go on and check. I think that we need to fix this problem so that, in fact, when an alert goes out, it is a legitimate alert that people can listen to. So I hear you. I hear that criticism. I personally, when I heard it, didn't feel that I was going to tell people, well, if you get it, just go on a website. They can, but that's not going to satisfy the frustration that people have. So I just want to make it clear to you.
Thank you, Chair Barger. We are at time. We're over time. Thank you. We will do one-on-ones. If you need assistance, please come see me or a member of the team. Thank you, speakers, again. Thank you all for attending.
Give me a right turn. So we get the IB back. Of course, of course. They're back up, right? Super Scooper? Yeah, that's just horrible. I mean, it really restricts their ability to fight these fires. And what we're looking at is just tragic here. We just are now getting the first look at the Altadena, Pasadena area. That's Fair Oaks, and that's East Loma Alta Drive. Maybe I'll bring up Sky Map real quick. Every single home along this stretch has been lost. Now, the terrain is a little different here than what we saw in Pacific Palisades, but it's just as widespread. The destruction here is ominous. Everywhere we look, we see homes are lost. Complete neighborhoods completely gone. It looks basically like it was carpet bombed with incinerated bombs. If you've ever seen pictures from World War II after the bombers have gone by, that's what it looks like. We'll come back off Sky Map, but it gives you an idea where we're looking, and I just want to push in tight and show you the destruction down here. It is saddening me, absolutely saddening what we are seeing, and each one of these homes that you're looking at are now completely gone. Every now and then we'll see a home that is standing, but on this block right here, you see every single home has been lost. This fire, the portion that is raging, is still up in the Angeles National Forest. We've had a lot of smoke, but just moments ago we were able to work our way around the smoke and really get a view of everything that is going on here, Philip. And it's just overwhelming when you get a look at it. It's so sad. I think that estimate of 4,000, it's going to go way up if I'm not mistaken. You see the fire for the most part is not approaching any homes. It's burning up towards Mount Wilson. Yesterday we were flying over the Mount Wilson area. They were able to save it. Fantastic job, because it looked like Mount Wilson was going to go down. We've lost some power up there. It's restricted our ability to transmit in a lot of ways. You see all the antennas up there, communication centers, some of them running on generators, but they did lose all of their power. But I want to come down from there and then go back into the Pasadena and the Altadena area, and similar to what we saw in the Palisades, it's ominous. The destruction is just overwhelming. Thousands of homes are lost. The human toll, we understand, you might have a better figure. The last figure I heard, at least 5 people were killed in this fire. And you can only imagine, Philip, it was, Wednesday night, Wednesday morning, we couldn't fly. The winds were too high. And all of a sudden, 80-mile-an-hour winds ripping down this canyon, coming out of the Angeles National Forest, come right down through Altadena, right into Pasadena. And here's what it left behind. It's saddening. Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly going to take some time, but just to put it in perspective, this started 6:30, I believe, on Tuesday evening. By Wednesday morning, if you can only imagine, into Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, if you live in this area, the winds are howling at 80 miles an hour at some point, probably 50 miles an hour, sustained, but gusts up to 80, and you have to try and get out. So when you take a look at these streets trying to get out of here, this may be police activity searching some of the homes to see if they can clear them, that no one has been lost inside that home. But just imagine what it must have been like. And I want to open up a little bit and give you a little bit of a wider shot just to give you an overwhelming overwhelming shot of how bad the destruction is. Everything, for the most part, is lost here. Now, compared to Palisades, every single home was lost in that area. In Palisades, every single home. Here, it did hopscotch across certain areas. Some homes were saved, some homes were lost, and the homes up along the hillside, they seem to have gotten it the worst. Off to the left side of your screen, to give you some perspective, that's JPL. The homes right in there, they were saved. But then if we come down a little bit, that entire neighborhood along Fair Oaks, that has been lost. Fair Oaks and East Loma Alta Drive, everything on that block has been completely lost. So the aircrafts could not fly. They could not get in there and help them. And you look at the fatalities, and it's so tragic. But even if you were trying to get out, this was so overwhelming, it would be easy to get trapped if you were elderly, if you were non-ambulatory, and you needed help. There just couldn't have been enough assistance quickly to get those people out, unfortunately. That's almost scary. All right. The corner was there. I don't hear it yet. Transmission said they were just switching it over. That's a coroner there, medical examiner. Yeah, it sounds like it do. All right, got you loud and clear. We're ready to go. Coming up about 12:10 or 9:10 our time. All right, how much time do you want me to eat up here? Okay, 2 minutes on both, the entire thing, both questions. All right, yeah, you're interrupted, but 2 minutes per question, is that correct? 2 minutes total for both questions, got it. Jake, say again? All right, copy. Okay, go ahead. Hold on. Could you start over, please? I'm sorry. There's some background noise. One more time. Correct. All right. Okay. Very good. All right. All good. We're all set. Let's see. I don't think I can reach over there. Can you, yeah, there you go. Keep going back. Go up higher. No, reach your hand up higher until you reach the clip to pull it up and tighten it. All the way up. Keep going right there, right there.
The medical examiner's there right now. We just saw him. Yes, sir. Cross a marathon.
Yeah.
131 TONIA, Tonya. Cross a marathon. Go back to where we were.
Yeah. Nah, it's a glare. It's a glare. We gotta get back to these. But the smoke may be drifting a little bit. Oh, of course. Yeah. All right, no problem. I got you. All right, we're all set. Yeah. Yeah. Tell that to the Dodgers. Where was the medical examiner? All right, let's go ahead and turn now, I think. We're coming up here out of the spot bridge, so Yeah, let's make a northbound turn. A northbound turn. We'll go due north here, as slow as you can go. I'll direct you if we need to go back, but I think this is going to be our best shot in here. Give me the most destruction you can find that's really visible, Marcel. All right, that was Fair Oaks and East Loma Alta. All right. We should go back. We should go back towards the north a little bit. The more we're looking straight down, the better it's going to be. Right here. Hit this heading right here. Go ahead and move a little bit. Pick the nose over a little. The smoke's sort of drifting over there, so the more we look straight down, the better. Bit. Popping. DeMarco, we're looking down over Pasadena and Altadena, and I tell you, we just noticed this, or just able to view this probably about 15 to 20 minutes ago because the smoke finally cleared. You can tell it's pretty hazy in there. The devastation is just overwhelming. We have a report of about 4,000 homes that were lost. We believe it's going to be more than that, but each one of these blocks, every row of homes has been lost, and especially the homes up in the higher elevations, up along the hillside. And you can imagine what it must have been like. It was Tuesday afternoon. It started into the evening. Speeds up to 80 miles an hour with the winds. It came right through this area. We have reports at least 5 people were killed, but we do see the medical examiner here and the sheriff's department going home to check to see if more people may have been trapped. But it's really difficult to describe this. It's saddening. It's overwhelming. It's going to be a long time before these people recover, and there's still some of the areas that we have not been able to see because of the smoke. The fire itself is laid down a little bit, but certainly we've got a long road ahead of us to recover. Well, they've actually made a lot of progress. You see the area that burned, we just tilted off that, and then I'll push up into the Angeles National Forest, and that's where the fire is burning now. It's inaccessible. Fires are burned for weeks up in this area before they're able to put them out. So right now they've made a lot of progress, especially down by the homes. It doesn't look like there's any threat right now that they're going to lose more homes, at least in the short term, because the winds have died down. The fire's moved into the mountainous area, and they protected all of the homes. But we do have some Santa Ana wind conditions that are forecast for the weekend. If we get Santa Ana wind conditions that are high enough, it could rekindle this fire, and sadly we could lose more homes. Absolutely. Sure. What's that? Oh, I didn't listen. Now the Palisades fire is the most destructive in state history. I thought it was. When did they do that? When did they change that? Oh, well. That's it right there, Jay. Sounds like I'm still hearing GMA. Yeah, we're finished with me, as far as I know. How much time? And it's for local, right? All right. All right. Are they rolling? Playback rolling? All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, mark. We are of the Eaton fire. We're looking down over Pasadena, and it was just moments ago we were able to get around and see some of the smoke lift in this area. Right there's the coroner van. Sadly, we know at least 5 people were killed in this fire, but as we came around the bend, we saw the smoke sort of move out, and we really got a realization of just how much has been destroyed here. It really looks a lot like what we saw with the Palisades fire. This isn't just one stretch of homes here that are like tract homes in the Palisades. These homes are more spread out, but you could tell block after block after block has been lost. Reported 4,000 structures lost or damaged. I think that number is going to go up. It could be well over 4,000 homes. I'll give you a little perspective and pull out of this shot. You can see off to the left side of your screen, that's going to be JPL. The fire moved down that ridge line. JPL was saved, but as we come back to the right, you'll see this entire area, that area off of Fair Oaks, up towards Alta, East Loma Alta Drive. Every single home just about was lost. You'll see a home every now and then it was standing, but for the most part, everything is gone. Total destruction in this area. Also want to show you a little bit about what's going on at the moment and where the fire is burning. It has moved away from all the homes. I don't see any homes that are threatened by this fire at the moment. The fire is burning up in the Angeles National Forest. They were able to save Mount Wilson. That is good news, although the electricity may be down and some of the antennas and receiver sites may not be working. But right now it's smoldering up in that area. Still a lot of smoke, extremely unhealthy air, but I don't see any structures that are threatened. We're hoping the winds stay calm and they don't kick up once again. From Air 7, I'm Scott Reif, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. All right, a little long, but thanks. Yeah, okay. As long as it's over by noon, I'm fine. No, we're okay, a little bit for fuel. Yeah, I'm with you now. We're local. Okay. It's pretty good right here if you can hover. Yeah. Okay. We'll give another 20 minutes or so. Go back to the east. Where is the coroner? I'll probably go to that. Might be getting obscured by smoke. Okay. You know, you can go back to where you were before, a little cleaner shot, but I might go to that. Okay. All right, very good. Give me the most destructive shot that you can find. Yeah, sure. Okay, great. Yeah, I think we should go back to slowly to the north and to the west. I think that'll help us look straight down through the smoke a little bit. Yeah, right here. And as slow as you can. Hover if you can. Huh. Yeah, boy, I tell you, the devastation is just overwhelming in the macro when you look at everything and you just look down at this area. You to compare it to the Palisades fire, they're both just horrific. This appears to be just as bad on the same type of scale. It's interesting, it was about the same time yesterday morning the smoke cleared in the Palisades and we got a look. And when we looked at the Palisades, we thought, is that really what we're seeing? Because it was through the smoke. And then as we pushed in more and more and more, all we saw was home after home after home that was lost. Can we go to the medical examiner? We are seeing more of the medical examiner responding to different homes. Now, as you can imagine, they have to go through all these homes, Philip. They have to clear them. The medical examiner, the coroner's been called here, so they're more than likely is one of the fatalities. We see no vehicles in here except for police and fire, and none of the homes right now in Altadena or in Pasadena are threatened by fire. The fire has moved up into the Angeles National Forest, but on the left side of your screen, that's JPL to give you a little perspective, maybe even a little wider, Marcel. We could see the 210 freeway there, I think. So there's the 210 freeway. The Rose Bowl would be on the left, and this is the area just north of the 210 off of Fair Oaks and Pasadena and Altadena that really got hit so hard. Almost every single home in some of these blocks has been lost. Now, it did jump from one neighborhood to the next. One neighborhood may have got saved, but then we get into another neighborhood, especially along Fair Oaks and East Loma Alta Drive. Just about every single home was gone there. The fire itself, Philip, has moved up into the Angeles National Forest. We were looking at Mount Wilson yesterday. It looks like they saved it. None of the structures have been burnt. You can see through the smoke there. They did lose electricity. I think if they're operating, they're on generators at this point in time. And the fire has laid down very, very nicely. You see some of the antennas. I think we've lost ours. We didn't lose the infrastructure, but we lost the power. Can you come up as wide as you can go, Marcel, for a moment? And I just want to give you some perspective on how big the fire is. We did have a fire helicopter in here. We're starting to see them make some drops. We expect the tankers to come in here pretty soon. But the fire here, this Eaton fire, is going to burn probably throughout next week. With a little more wind, it just won't be able to put it out because it's so inaccessible. The terrain is so steep. But as far as the neighborhoods are concerned, the fire has burned away from Pasadena and Altadena, but destruction is just overwhelming. Correct. No, Mount Wilson's been saved. I don't think anything has come down. We lost power to our facility up there. I think that's what happened, and they're operating on generators. So they'll be back up, but we did not lose anything as far as the infrastructure. We did lose power, though. Yeah, it would have been a historic loss to lose the observatory, and we did see a helicopter yesterday afternoon come up to make a drop, and I wondered why the drop was so far off, and then we learned they canceled because of the wind. So we're very fortunate that we did not lose anything at Mount Wilson yesterday, but if you realize what was happening, the wind had died down in that one area. Lower in the area where we were coming from, it was pretty severe, but on top of the hill, it sort of calmed down, and then what it was, Philip, was a terrain-driven fire. It burned up to the top of the ridge line, and then firefighters were there with critical infrastructure protection. They had a group of firefighters there, and they knocked it down before it got to any of the structures or got to the observatories. So that was fantastic work on their part. But now to just look out over Pasadena and Altadena, I mean, it's just sickening just to look at all of these homes that have been lost. It's hard to really compare to Palisades. They're both just so horrific. Obviously the terrain is a little different here from what we saw in those neighborhoods and those tract homes down in the Palisades. But the numbers, unfortunately, are just going to be astronomical as far as how many people have lost their homes and how long it will take to recover and where did they go. And then, of course, I think the number is at least 5 have been reported to have been killed in this fire, and we're afraid that that number may go way up. Yeah, that's possible. I mean, you're nestled right here, right below the foothills. And so I think most of the people who live in this area, they know that fires have come down and burnt in this area before. They should have been ready to get out. They can go to the south. To the right is to the north, to the left is to the south. So they could have evacuated pretty quickly. I think once they saw that thick, heavy smoke and those high winds, I mean, the winds were so strong, Philip, that you almost wanted to leave because of the winds. I mean, in Encino, where I was living at the time, it felt like the trees were going to fall down. And then if you look up in the hill and you see a bright orange glow and you see smoke and flames coming your way, I think you're going to get out of this area as quickly as possible. I think the people in this area have seen fires come down this ridgeline before, but this was different. We haven't had precipitation, I think, in almost 9 months. We had the strongest Santa Ana wind event ever, possibly, and with those two things combined, it was so dry. I think it was the speed that caught everybody, off guard here, just how quickly it moved down into this area. A lot of folks, they'll look up there and say, I have a little time. And in this case, I think we had spot fires, and those hot embers started a home on the other side of somebody that was watching, and now the fire is burning at you from both sides, and boy, you really have to scramble. But it certainly must have been horrific to be living in this area late Tuesday night and Wednesday morning when those winds were howling. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no question. I mean, the human toll is overwhelming, but this is almost like one event. When we start to talk about the property that has been lost and the numbers they start throwing out, $150 billion, to me it almost appears like one event. We have two separate fires, but it's almost like one natural disaster. And when you put those two together, it is going to be by far the biggest disaster in the state of California ever. Right, and so it really gives you an idea what we had, what we are still dealing with in some sense, but what these folks here in Altadena, Pasadena, Palisades, Malibu, the terror they've been through over the last couple of days, and the saving grace is that the winds have died down. Yeah. 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 Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it could take a decade to recover. And the fire in '93 in Malibu, I would fly up and down Malibu, and we lost hundreds and hundreds of homes in that fire. And basically, you could still find foundations that were not rebuilt to this day. Now, Malibu is a little different animal when it comes to getting a building permit. But it could take a decade before these neighborhoods look like they used to. This is not going to be a slow process. It is going to be a slow process. It is not going to be a quick process by any means. And certainly, I've evacuated several times over the last few years, and the home has never burned. I'm so fortunate in that respect. But boy, it just throws your life into a tailspin. Where do you go? Who do you live with? And then if you've lost your home and your goods, you have to go get more clothes. You have to get everything. And I just feel for those people because their whole lives are turned upside down. Do I go to work? I need the money. I got to get to work. But yet I got to stay home and take care of my family. And so all the things that they have to deal with right now and the amount of people, I think we heard numbers of like over 200,000 that have evacuated so far. Yeah. Okay. Chorus. It's heartbreaking. All right, let's go back. Jay, we're headed back to Van Nuys. Well, look. Outpost Lane. Do you see an Outpost Lane or not? Fire couldn't have started over there. It's in the smoke, Jay. But it definitely didn't start over there. That was where you were looking? That is correct.